Have you ever had a moment where everything suddenly made sense? Like someone turned on a light in a room you didn't even know was dark? That's an aha moment. It's not just a clever phrase. It's a real, powerful shift in your awareness. And it can change everything. But here's the twist. Most people miss it. They expect it to be loud, dramatic, maybe even cinematic. But in reality, the aha moment often arrives quietly. It's a flicker, a whisper, a subtle shift in how you see something or yourself. And if you're not paying attention, it slips past unnoticed. So what exactly is this moment? It's the instant when your brain connects dots that were floating around for days, months, maybe even years. You realize something you've always known, but never fully understood. It's not new information. It's new clarity. Suddenly, you see your situation, your choices, your patterns, or your potential in a completely different light. Think of it like this: you've been walking through fog. You know there's a road ahead, but you can't see it clearly. Then, for a brief second, the fog lifts. You see the path. You see where it leads. And you know what you need to do. That's the aha. Can happen in a conversation, while journaling, during a walk, or even in the middle of a breakdown. It's not always joyful. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. But it's always honest. And it always brings you closer to your truth. Let's look at a few examples. Someone stuck in a job they hate suddenly realizes they've been chasing security, not fulfillment. That's an aha moment. A person repeating toxic relationship patterns finally sees the connection to their childhood wounds. That's an aha moment. An artist struggling with creative block suddenly understands they've been trying to please others instead of expressing themselves. That's an aha moment. These moments don't fix everything instantly, but they shift the direction. They open a door. They give you a choice. Stay the same or step into something new. And here's the beautiful part. Once you've had one, you start to notice more. You become tuned in. You start listening to your inner voice. You start catching those flickers before they fade. So why do we miss them? Because we're distracted. We're busy. We're afraid. We're conditioned to ignore discomfort and chase comfort. But the aha moment often hides inside discomfort. It's the thing you don't want to admit, the truth you've been avoiding, the pattern you've been repeating. It's not always convenient, but it's always liberating. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you act on it, everything changes. You don't always know when you're about to change. It rarely comes with a warning. But if you pay close attention, there are signs. Subtle ones, quiet ones, sometimes frustrating ones. And they're often disguised as discomfort. It might start with a feeling that something's off. You wake up and everything feels fine, but not good. You go through your routine, but it feels like you're just going through the motions. You're not unhappy, but you're not lit up either. That's a sign. Or maybe you keep running into the same problem. Different people, different places, same pattern. You keep choosing the same kind of relationship. You keep sabotaging your progress. You keep doubting yourself at the exact moment you're about to leap. That's not coincidence. That's a signal. Sometimes the signs are emotional. You feel restless, irritable, bored. You start questioning things you used to accept. You wonder why you're doing what you're doing. You feel like something's missing, but you can't name it. That's your inner compass trying to point you somewhere new. Other times, the signs come from outside. A conversation that hits you harder than expected. A book that feels like it was written just for you. A stranger's comment that echoes in your head for days. These are nudges, invitations, clues. And then there's the moment you start asking different questions. Not what should I do, but what do I actually want? Not how do I fix this, but why do I keep ending up here? Not what's wrong with me, but what am I ready to let go of? These questions crack things open. They shift your perspective. They make you look at your life with new eyes. And once you start asking them, you're already changing. There's also a strange kind of tension that builds before a turning point. You feel pulled in two directions. Part of you wants to stay safe, stay familiar. The other part is curious, hungry, ready. You feel like you're standing at a doorway, unsure whether to step through. That tension isn't a problem. It's a sign you're close. You might notice your interests shifting. Things that used to excite you now feel dull. You're drawn to new ideas, new people, new places. You start exploring things you never considered before. You feel open even if you're scared. That openness is a clue. Sometimes you feel like you're falling apart. You're overwhelmed. You're emotional. You're questioning everything. It feels messy and chaotic. But chaos often comes before clarity. The breakdown is part of the breakthrough. You're not falling apart, you're shedding what no longer fits. You may also feel a strange sense of déjà vu. Like you've been here before. Like life is repeating itself. That's not random. That's your subconscious trying to get your attention. Saying, you've seen this pattern. Are you ready to change it? And then, there's silence. A pause. A moment where everything slows down. You feel still. You feel present. You feel like something is about to happen, even if you don't know what. That stillness is sacred. It's the space where the aha moment lands. You don't need to force it. You don't need to rush it. But you do need to pay attention. Because the moment of clarity, the aha, is often hiding in plain sight, just waiting for you to slow down, listen, and trust what you feel. Try this. Take a few minutes today and ask yourself one question that scares you a little. Write down whatever comes up. Don't judge it. Don't edit it. Just let it speak. That's how you start to hear the truth beneath the noise. And when you do, don't be surprised if something shifts. Because the signs are already here. So you've felt it, that flicker of recognition. That strange clarity. That quiet voice inside saying, this is it. Maybe it came during a conversation, or while you were staring out a window, or in the middle of a breakdown. However it arrived, it's here. Now what? This is the part most people hesitate on. They wait for permission. They wait for certainty. They wait for the perfect conditions. But the truth is, the aha moment doesn't come with a roadmap. It comes with a spark. And it's up to you to decide what to do with it. The first step is to honor it. Don't brush it off. Don't tell yourself it's just a passing thought. That flicker is your truth trying to surface. It's your inner wisdom finally breaking through the noise. Treat it like something sacred, because it is. You don't need to make a huge leap right away. You don't need to quit your job, move across the world, or start a business tomorrow. But you do need to take one step. One small, intentional move in the direction of that clarity. That's how momentum begins. Maybe it's a conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a boundary you need to set. Maybe it's a habit you're ready to release. Whatever it is, act on it. Even if it's uncomfortable. Especially if it's uncomfortable. Because growth doesn't come from staying safe. It comes from choosing what's true. You might feel resistance. That's normal. Your old patterns will try to pull you back. Your fear will whisper reasons to stay where you are. But here's the thing. Once you've seen the truth, pretending you haven't is exhausting. You can't unknow what you know. You can only delay it. So instead of fighting the resistance, get curious about it. Ask yourself what it's trying to protect. What story it's holding on to. What part of you is afraid to change. And then gently remind yourself, you're not abandoning who you were. You're evolving. This shift isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you really are. It's about peeling back the layers of expectation, fear, and conditioning, and finding the person underneath. The one who's been waiting to be seen. You don't have to do it alone. Share your moment with someone you trust. Talk it out. Write it down. Let it breathe. The more you express it, the more real it becomes. And the more real it becomes, the easier it is to act on. Sometimes the shift is quiet. You start saying no more often. You stop chasing approval. You begin choosing peace over drama. These changes might seem small, but they're powerful. They ripple through your life in ways you can't always predict. Other times, the shift is loud. You make a bold decision. You walk away from something that no longer fits. You leap into something unknown. And while it might feel scary, it also feels alive. That's how you know it's right. There's no perfect way to embrace your turning point. There's only your way. The way that feels honest. The way that feels aligned. The way that feels like you're finally listening to yourself. So take a breath. Feel the shift. Trust the flicker. And then move. Because the moment that changes everything isn't just something you notice. It's something you respond to. And once you do, your life begins to reshape itself around that truth. Not overnight. Not all at once. But steadily. Quietly. Powerfully. You're not waiting for change anymore. You are the change.